Welcome back and thank you for listening and watching online to the Abu Dhabi Transparency House. We are now sitting with REDSTACK. I'm talking to Pieter. Thank you, Pieter, for being here.
Good afternoon.
Could you briefly explain what REDSTACK does?
REDSTACK is a technology development company. We're developing technology to harvest, to generate sustainable power out of contacting fresh water and salt water. So any river would flow into the sea. We put in our equipment and there we can harvest full sustainable power.
Wow, that sounds it sounds very new. I think a lot of people have never heard about it before. You are based in the Netherlands. Do you know, is this something that's being explored overall in the world, or is this something where you are very innovative and new at?
It is a Dutch invention, to be first. 2004 we started on a large scale with the REDSTACK Research Institute to work on this topic. In the meantime, I know there is a group in Japan and one in Korea and maybe some others working on it, but to be honest, we are far ahead of them.
Okay, that's always good to be ahead. So you're kind of the leader in this new technology.
Yep.
What is potentially the impact of this technology?
If you would zoom in only on the focus where the rivers flow into the sea, in the Netherlands we have the River Rhine and Maas flowing into the sea, and in the Netherlands on a continuous base was leaving enough water for the fishes and ships to pass. We could generate 15% of the Dutch electricity demand, or some 1,500 megawatt. On a worldwide base, it would be 12 to 13% of the world power consumption we could harvest once everything fully implemented.
Yes, so that's a large impact. Everybody's talking about the mixture of various renewable power sources. Do you think this is one that will be implemented and have a very large impact, or do you think it's because you need fresh water and salt water, so I imagine it's not available anywhere?
Yep.
So do you think it will be successfully implemented in the coming years?
It is limited indeed to the coastal areas, but the deltas. But the big difference compared to solar and wind is that it is full continuous. You do not need any storage. It is 24/7 available as long as the river water is flowing. And that's a big thing. So the contribution to grid stability is significant. So from that point of view, it would have a nice place in the total energy mix. But we can only generate 15% of the world power demand, so the other 85% is open for others.
Of the world power demand?
Yeah.
Okay, and in Holland it can represent more?
A bit more, because we have relatively spoken nice rivers. For example, Switzerland, nothing for us.
No salt water.
No sea there.
Yeah. Okay, so just to understand a little bit more about the concept, I throw salt water and fresh water together and then it happens?
Almost. You need our stack, and on our stack there are membranes in it, and we have two types of membranes. One type of membrane where the plus the salt, the sodium can pass through, and the other type of membranes where the minus, the chloride, can pass through. So all the pluses go to the one membrane, the minus go to the other membrane in opposite direction. All the pluses to the left, the right, the minuses to the right, and you generate a voltage. And that's it.
Yeah, well, it sounds, you make it sound very simple, but I imagine it never been done before makes it quite challenging.
Yeah.
So, has it been tested to a certain scale, or?
The first test began in the laboratories at the REDSTACK Institute in 2004, but then the results, the power density was lousy, and only in 2011 it came into a level that, according to the calculations, the models, yes, it should work. It would work, did work on laboratory. And then in 2012 we started building a pilot plant at the Afsluitdijk, north of Netherlands, which was opened in 2014. And since then it is operating. And we had the honor that in the end of 2014, our king, Willem-Alexander, came for the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Okay, very interesting. And has it been providing enough constant power as predicted?
Well, it is a pilot plant, so it is not for supplying power back to the grid for public use. But to be honest, in the beginning, the first 2 or 3 years, we learned a lot. There's quite a big change, differences between the laboratory and real life. But for the last 2 years now, we can say yes, it is performing according to the expectations. And that means that we are ready for upscaling into a bigger plant. Now we are producing a couple of kilowatts. A commercial plant will be more than 100 megawatts. So the gap in between, I think we need a so-called demonstration plant. And that is what we are preparing now.
So do you have a plan of when it will be realized?
On the one hand side, we are looking for a site. And in the Netherlands, we have identified 4 potential sites which we are working on. The Zeeland, the Rotterdam area and the IJmuiden area and the Afsluitdijk. But it's at the moment still difficult to get this financed because this plant as such, the project as such, will not be profitable. It will be losing money because it's too small to be viable. That will be only in the next step. So one of the reasons I'm here is looking if some institute, some company is ready to help in financing the demo.
Yes. So I know that this region also has a lot of desert, so I'm not really sure. You need to find a country that has a surplus of fresh water, or at least flowing into the sea, and the sea, of course. So have you already got some contacts in place?
Yeah, fortunately, we also can work in places where there is no river. For example, in seawater desalination plants, where you make drinking water out of seawater, there is a so-called brine reject, a very salt water flow, which normally goes back into the sea. So this triple salt water compared to normal seawater. Well, that's a waste product now. We can use it. We can make power out of it.
But then it works the other way around.
Now we need a gradient. We need a difference. Very salt compares to salt, and then the ions, the salt will start to move. It will not be hundreds of megawatts which we can harvest like that, but a couple of tenths of megawatts it will be feasible, and that's in this area. So that's why I'm here in this area.
So thinking out loud, to every upside is a downside. What's the downside for REDSTACK?
Maybe some people think we are too innovative. We are the only one in the world, a leading one in the world. So it's I don't know how to say in English, the wet van de remmende voorsprong.
Yeah,
we are leading the
slowing
pack
pro.
And,
you're too much ahead of the world.
In government subsidy programs, there is no square where you can take salt gradient power because wind and solar, everything can be financed. We are new. We are the new kid in the block.
So you of course have a lot of subsidies also going to various types of energy. Usually that's grid related. Do you know anywhere that there's actually subsidized programs that do support you?
For the laboratory and pilot plant, we did get good subsidies from the Dutch government. For the demonstration side, this is not available in the Netherlands. Yeah. At least not in a way that it suits us.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a hurdle.
So you are here to get financing. The Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week is a signal that also this part of the world really wants to make the transition from oil and gas to renewable. You offer what I understand the difference between other renewable power sources is that it sounds like your innovation has a more constant flow of energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that makes it more reliable for any grid. So it just needs the kickstart that everybody is eager to find. Yep. So I would say investors, they must be they must be lining up to make this happen because they know that if this increases, it will actually make a very big difference.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, and then after that maybe the one goal, the main difficulty is upscaling.
Yeah. Yeah, from a technical point of view, we got a good team working on it, making good progress. So the finance issue is a bit lagging behind.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have a perfect solution that can help us achieving the perfect world. There's almost no downsides except for the fact that people are, who would have said, afraid of new innovations being sustainable, whereas everybody wants to become more sustainable. I think, Pieter, you are on the verge of making some big differences, and I hope, well, there's enough money here. I hope that somewhere this week might already give you the lead that you need.
Okay.
Then next year, or maybe at the expo, we'll be talking to each other again. And I hope I can then congratulate you.
Let's go for that.
And in the meantime, I wish you a lot of luck. And thank you for talking to us. So
Thank
Pieter,
you for giving the opportunity.
thank you very much.
See you later.
And to everybody listening to the Transparency House here in Abu Dhabi right now, we are about to start with another topic related to Zytec, which cannot be here presently, but happily I was also able to talk with them last year. So I'm able to tell a bit of the story without them present, and yes, we will be sharing that with you briefly.